What's going on, everybody? It's Tom.
And it's Jamie. Welcome to the Chronicles of Podcast.
The Chronicles of Bloodstock 2024.
Hello, I am Meyrick.
I'm David.
And we're from Immortal.
And it's an absolute pleasure to have you, so thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, stop it. Way too kind. How are your personal Fridays treating you?
Well, very fun, very good. We played on the Sophie stage and it was sick. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, I can't complain, really.
And the weather's with you as well.
The weather is wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, the weather's definitely been very kind. It's been nice and warm, but not too hot and not too cold.
Yeah.
So, when we played on the stage, it was about, 10 past 1? So, probably when the sun was out the most.
Yeah.
The tent was quite nice and shaded, and
It was still bloody hot on stage, though.
Yeah, I can imagine.
still a bit of a sweaty one, but
Yeah, a sweaty one.
I mean, you're saying it's no time not to go on. As a ginger, it's been fucking horrible.
We got two gingers in our band, so yes, they were both struggling.
Yeah, it's like our kryptonite to Superman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that? Ah!
Sizzling to death.
On the floor, like, Paul, I had to wait for it to go back in and like reform back as a human
Literally,
again.
just like reset yourself.
Just a big ginger puddle.
Big orange puddle on the floor.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, it's just
another ginger.
Yeah,
That's all
it's
right.
just Mikey. Don't worry about it. He's
Yeah,
fine.
it's all right.
He'll be all right. Yeah, he'll be with us shortly.
Yeah, it'll cool down slightly.
It reminds me of that TV series from the 90s where that girl could mould into silver.
Oh
liquid.
shit! Yeah. What was that?
called?
Not Buffy. Not Buffy.
Not
It was
Buffy.
fucking.
Was she a vampire killer?
I can't. I don't know. I know. Fuck. What was that
It's like
called?
the New Adventures of something or other. I don't know.
Something or other. Yeah. I know. I've got an image in my head of the thing.
She randomly turns liquid for no reason. I don't know.
Well, there we go.
Anyway, I don't know we're on 90s TV shows.
She was just ginger. Yeah.
I don't know if I can't remember. She might be blonde.
Yeah. Platinum blonde if it was silver. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyway,
it's already derailed.
Yeah,
No,
massively. Where are we? What's going on? That sun's got to my head.
Yeah.
You've mentioned it, but how was the set today?
pretty good. We were well prepared. Had a really long practice a couple of days ago, proper drilling the set in, and Charlie he put in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And he was shattered by the end of the night. But when we played today, everything all gelled well together. Everyone was like prepared, and it was fun.
Yeah, we had a sick time. We had a really good time. Crowd was great. Crowd was vibing with it. They were like responsive, which is like nice considering it was like early afternoon on a Friday.
But that's the good thing about Bloodstock.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how hungover or tired someone is, they'll still fucking come and watch it.
Well, they've come here to like, do you know what I mean, see metal bands.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
if they come here and then don't want to see metal bands, like what are they doing?
I suppose when you look at the times, you're like, 1 o'clock. Not too bad. Early
Yeah, it could be
afternoon
worse,
sort of thing.
yeah.
Exactly. It could be 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think no matter what time it is, people will drag their ass out and they will come and watch some shit.
Yeah, and they did, and that was really cool. It was really cool to see, because you never know in stuff like this. Like, is everyone going to decide to like have their lunch at this specific moment and not come and see us? But no, they filled it out, so it was I can't complain at all.
Look, well, compared to an Exist Immortal show, to an Exist Immortal festival show, do you change your setups up accordingly so that people might be so familiar with yourselves, just drop all the bangers in?
Well, it kind of was a set full of all the bangers.
Of course.
Like it kind of I mean, it's a tricky one because we've released a few records over the years, so we've got there's a lot to choose from. So we tend to just pick depending on how long the set is. We tend to pick all the ones that people are likely to like know and enjoy, and particularly ones that work the best live. That's kind of how we decide how to do the set. Anyway, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much it really. There's a lot of songs that we could actually play live, so there's quite a large kind of catalogue for us to choose from. And most of the time it is just thinking about half and half whether what would we be most comfortable playing and what we would think would be like a good vibe to play, and everyone's like easy to play it depending on what kind of time frame you have. 30 minutes versus 40, an hour. When it's an hour over, you can do anything you want. But for this set, definitely, I think we picked the right songs for this kind of crowd.
Yeah. It's kind of, there's a balance between like what we enjoy playing the most and what like gets the best crowd interaction. And luckily, that generally tends to sort of line up as the same thing. But like sometimes we have to kind of pick something that's going to be a crowd pleaser over something that's easier to play. Or like for example,
so complicated, but they love it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
us as a podcast, we're ambassadors for the Sophie Lancaster Foundation.
Nice.
Obviously, you played the Sophie stage
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
But are you familiar with Sophie and the story?
Yeah, I remember the story. I remember when it happened, like originally, the original thing, sort of back in the day. It's like absolutely shocking, but it's amazing what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation has done over the years to sort of continuing to kind of like fly the flag for the cause. And yeah, I mean, it's an amazing cause, and it's amazing what Bloodstock have done with regards to like naming a stage after. So I mean, we're super proud to play that stage because obviously it's like a big thing, it's like a cultural thing for the sort of rock and metal community.
Oh, absolutely. So we're talking to bands this weekend to basically find out if, obviously we've discussed a lot in the past of whether you experienced this growing up. So now we want to talk to people about whether you still experience that today, being part of this community. Whether it just be a side eye, a bit of a funny look when you walk into the bank or the doctors, even at work. Is it something you still experience today, or
you do a little bit. I mean, people luckily generally on the on the whole are like pretty. They're much better with it. They're much more kind of like welcoming. But it kind of depends what environment you're around. I tend to be around music quite a lot because I've worked in the industry anyway. So for me, not so much because kind of everyone is in the same boat. But definitely when growing up, everyone's had the sort of like grebo, so all sorts of. It's a great word, but it is also like. Do you know what I mean? There's a stigma to it a little bit. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, well, for me, it's more like I definitely felt it more growing up because I went outside more. But ever since I've got a bit older now, I've got a remote job, so I just sit at home and work with my wife because we work in the same company.
his solution
And
is
then-
avoid
and then-
society?
Yeah.
I like it.
Just go to Asda every now and then with my mum to help her out with shopping. And then I see the lads, and then we go play a festival. So I just surround myself now with like some people.
Good way to
that I
avoid
wanna
it.
be with, so I don't get any kind of. Sometimes, maybe when you're out and about, but maybe that's probably because like sometimes I wear like t-shirts with like skulls and stuff on it. So it's gonna obviously attract attention, but it's not like they're like oh. So it's definitely got a lot better now. I would say.
Funny the amount of replies to this question we've had today is, yeah, generally it's normal, but if I'm wearing a t-shirt with like "fuck Jesus" on it, then I get weird looks. It's quite odd.
I took my dog for a walk in an aborted t-shirt, and it's like leafy fields, like other dog walkers, and it's like fluorescent green and guts and stuff. I didn't realise until I was sort of out there, like just in the field walking my dog. You're right. I just didn't even think about it. I was like, I just wear a pair of t-shirt on, whatever. Yeah, and then I realised like people walking past me like. Sort of give me a look as I realised like, yeah, okay, fair enough. My t-shirt does have like someone with their stomach ripped open and guts everywhere, and it says aborted in big green letters on it. So I was like, in those circumstances, I can understand like someone's grandma being like, what's that?
She doesn't like you. She just thinks the t-shirt's a bit like strange.
It's a bit much, but I think probably my own grandma would probably think my t-shirt was a bit much if I wore
She might have just been going, where did you get that from?
I want one of those. That's cool. That.
So, obviously, when we were growing up and when what happened to Sophie, and you compare that now to 2024, it's a very different world.
Very different, yeah.
So different. So do you think it's easier to be part of this community now compared to how it was back then when we were growing up?
I do. I think mostly because of the internet. Because people can find like their communities online as well, so you can kind of self-select the people you hang around with. So like like back in the day before the internet, you would have been forced to kind of hang around with like people who were probably less welcoming, more bigoted, more like. But nowadays you can kind of self-select and avoid that more with the internet. So I do think it is better. Obviously, it's not completely. The problem's not totally solved, but it's more solved than it was. When like obviously the Sophie Lancaster incident happened, and back in the day when we were all growing up, it was in my opinion anyway, it was a bigger problem then. Although I can't speak for like what it's like to be in school these days.
No.
I've got absolutely no idea, but like I can imagine like there's still elements of that kind of thing going on these days.
I think more it's more of like if you're still in school, obviously you still have like that sort of support online as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's I can't really say for that kind of generation at the moment. Obviously, when we were growing up, we had just like MSN and LimeWire. Yeah. So it was kind of like if you did something wrong, you knew about it. Your computer would just shut down for some reason, and you're just like, maybe I shouldn't touch that kind of shit. Like, download it. Didn't have that much like information, but whereas now, you can find exactly what you want online easily. So you can find a community easily, and then that community just grows and grows. Like what happens with Bloodstock here. Like it's getting bigger every year. There's more of these happening. There's more smaller festivals growing. So yeah, it's definitely more.
I do find a weird thing of like more like people who aren't in this community are more curious than they've ever been about this community.
Yes.
And they're more like, that's cool. What's going on there? Like, I've got some friends who are like as far disconnected from this community as you can possibly imagine. Like totally different worlds. But they're always like, they see I'm doing the band and stuff, and they're like, oh, that's cool. Like this looks like a community vibe. So I think it's much more like curiosity and interest, rather than just pure sort of what's that, which it might have been back in the day a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bring it back to yourselves. You guys released a new single today.
Yes, we did.
And that's how it's been received. But I'm guessing you probably can't get online to find out.
I don't know. Well, I tell you, I was trying to do a post about it from the artist area before, but the signal is so atrocious that we and the Wi-Fi backstage is broken, which is excellent. So then we've had no signal. So we haven't even we posted about it yesterday because we dropped a visualizer for it yesterday. So people know it's there, but we haven't even been able to post about it. And we came off stage, immediately had to pack up, and then come over here to do press. So we kind of, after this we need to tell everyone that we've dropped a bloody song today. That's
Higher Ground with Vaxxed is unbelievable.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
That is. I listened to it I saw it. You came on my Instagram adverts.
Nice.
And as soon as I heard it, I was like, this is unreal.
Yes.
So it's straight to Spotify. I was like, this is incredible. Love it.
Thank you so much.
So new fan. Born.
That's been received really well. That song. She came out today and did the vocal live today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was really cool. That was really sick. It went down really well. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, boys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you
very
so much for joining us. It's massively appreciated.
Thank you very much for your time, guys.
Thank you so much. All right, you take it
Enjoy
easy.
the rest of your weekend.
Cheers.
All right, see you later.
Thank you very much.
I didn't realise how close I was to your lap.
You're good. You're all good.